I'm Chris Ackles.
And I'm Kareem Johnson.
In this week's newscast, a famous novelist gets a prestigious award.
A SLU scholar has an audience with the Pope.
The career fair comes to St. Louis.
Find out if there's more rain in your future.
NASA crashes a rocket into the moon, and the week in Billiken sports.
These stories and more on SLU News 22. Thank you for joining us. This week's top story is the St. Louis Literary Award. Salman Rushdie, the author of such novels as The Satanic Verses, was the St. Louis Literary Award recipient last Wednesday in the Wool Ballrooms of the Bush Student Center. Mr. Rushdie joins other authors, including Tennessee Williams and Tom Wolfe, as recipients. You can read more about this story in Noah Berman's article in the University's News.
Student Government Association's town hall meeting on October 1st had attendance that was certainly less than expected. Financial Vice President Robert Maley said the town hall was meant to be an open forum for students to find out how the student activity works and how it is used. Maley said that the SGA will address other ways to find out student opinions on the activity fee. You can email your opinions to the SGA at sga.slu.edu.
The chairman of the Theological Studies Department had a rare opportunity to do two things: to critique a Pope's writings and to meet the Pope himself. Father Wayne Hellman, OFM, has one of 15 scholars to read 1,000 pages that Pope Benedict wrote more than 50 years ago.
SLU-TV's very own David Keller was featured in the U News Let Us Introduce You article. Keller is the SLU-TV president and SLU News 22's chief meteorologist. He was interviewed for the U News on page 2 by Christian Miano.
Speaking of which, here's Dave with first weather. It's been raining a lot the past couple of days. I'm tired of the rain. Are we going to see any more of it?
Unfortunately, we are going to see some more rain and more cooler temperatures. This afternoon, temperatures were in the low 50s. Here in St. Louis, we were right around 53, 54. Now, overnight temperatures are going to drop down to around 42 degrees, and there is a chance for more rain showers as we head towards morning. So I'm sorry, Kareem, but there is more rain in the forecast.
Thanks, David. Last Tuesday, SLU's career fair was held in the Wool Ballrooms here at the Bush Student Center. More than 100 employers and booths were set up for students and graduates to find out about jobs and where they're available. For more information about the career fair, you can visit Career Services at careers.slu.edu.
When we come back, the president gets a Nobel Peace Prize and some controversy.
Also, you can check on how Billiken sports are doing, so stay with us. You're watching SLU News 22. Thanks for staying with us. It was announced last Friday that President Barack Obama will receive the Nobel Peace Prize. The announcement came on October 9th and drew praise from other recipients, including former Vice President Al Gore. It took the president by surprise. He was reportedly deeply humbled, and he considered the announcement a call to action. The president will go to Oslo in December to receive the award. Some analysts have criticized the president and criticized the awards committee for giving it to Barack Obama.
The president is also taking heat from the nation's gays and lesbians who have organized a march in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. Groups disappointed with the president's perceived lack of movement with LGBT issues. President Obama, in a speech on Saturday night, reiterated a pledge to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act, a move that fellow Democrats are not completely on board with. The act was signed by President Clinton, who now supports same-sex marriage.
When we come back, Cirque du Soleil goes to outer space, and NASA crashes a rocket into the moon.
This morning's low temperature of 37 degrees was the coldest we've seen so far this season. Are we going to see more cold weather, and how much rain is going to fall this week? I'll tell you right after the break.
Thanks for staying with us on SLU News 22. David Keller is with us to take a look at this week's weather leading into fall break.
Yeah, we do see more cool temperatures, more fall-like weather. In fact, it almost seems as though we've skipped a season here, as we had very cool temperatures on Sunday. The high temperature here at SLU was only 52 degrees. That's nearly 20 degrees below the normal high of 71, and our low was 35. That is the coolest temperature we have seen so far this season. In fact, it's the coolest weather we've seen since April, and it's very near that record low of 30 that was set back in 1964. Now, across the region in the afternoon on Sunday, we did see very sunny skies, but off to the west, there was a lot of clouds building up, and that's in association with our next storm system that is bringing some wintry weather to the northern plains. Numerous winter weather advisories have been posted for snow and freezing drizzle. In fact, in Nebraska, over the weekend, they received upwards of 16 inches of snow in some areas. So that's just giving you an idea how cool temperatures are across the region. In fact, they are in the 20s and 30s across the majority of the plains today. We are getting a taste of that weather as we are in the 50s, but we're not quite that cool. Now, over the next several days, that storm system developing off to our west is going to slowly slide across the northern plains, giving them yet another round of snow and wintry precipitation. It will also give us a chance for rain Sunday night into Monday morning. And by the time that storm system moves away, yet another storm system brings us more chances for rain Wednesday into Thursday, we could see some more heavy rain, so it just looks like this wet pattern does not want to let go. So here's your forecast for Monday. A few rain showers around 43 degrees in the morning. By the time we get to noon, rain showers are still sticking around in the area. 57 degrees, light winds out of the south. Those winds do turn around to the southeast by the time we get to 4 p.m. with a high of 61. So rain showers should be exiting the area. And Monday night, temperatures fall back to 53 degrees with northeast winds as another cold front does sneak through the region and allowing our temperatures to drop down to around into the 40s. So here's your 7-day forecast. By Tuesday, temperatures around 56 degrees. That next storm system approaches with an increasing chance for rain. Rain likely on Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures falling back to 54 on Friday as that cool air remains entrenched across the region. And by the time we get to next weekend, it looks like we will be drying out and very cool, but a dry and sunny weekend is in store.
Well, good. I want to get back to hot, dry Texas as fast as I can.
Well, I don't see any weather like that heading our way, so I'm sorry.
Thank you, David. Guy Lalibert, founder of Cirque du Soleil, has returned from the International Space Station, the first Canadian private space explorer, according to CNN. He used the trip to highlight the need for safe drinking water worldwide. With him were Gennady Padalka, a Russian cosmonaut, and astronaut Michael Barat. He arrived in Kazakhstan Sunday aboard a Russian spacecraft and participated in an event sponsored by his One Drop Foundation that took place in space in 14 cities worldwide. The event featured famous political and entertainment figures spreading the message of water for all for water. He founded the foundation in 2007 to provide easy access to safe water.
On Friday, the U.S. crashed 2 spacecraft into the moon in an attempt to locate water on the lunar surface. While the craft successfully collided with the moon, scientists did not initially observe the dust plume they expected. However, other data is gathered and expected to be conclusive after analyzation. NASA conducted the operation hoping to find water that could be utilized in future human missions to the moon.
When we come back, a look at Billiken sports. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to SLU News 22. The Billiken's women's soccer team traveled to the state of Ohio for 2 games last weekend, the first coming on Friday against the Xavier Musketeers. Junior Ashley Brazil scored a goal and had 3 assists on Friday night, and the Billiken's defense notched their 3rd shutout in a row as SLU defeated Xavier 4-0. On Sunday afternoon, the Lady Bills headed north to play the Flyers of Dayton, who was tied with St. Louis for the Atlantic 10 conference lead going into the matchup. It was a close game, tied 1-1 at the end of regulation, but the Flyers scored in double overtime to beat the Billikens 2-0, and Dayton sits atop the A-10 standings.
However, it was a successful weekend for the men's soccer team, who had a pair of home games last weekend at Robert R. Herman Stadium. The Bills fought a scrappy Richmond team on Friday night, but senior Tim Ream scored the game's only goal early in the second half, giving the Billikens a 1-0 win. On Sunday afternoon, the Billikens controlled the tempo, made crisp passes, and simply had their way with George Washington defense on their way to a 4-1 victory. Ream again came up big, scoring 2 goals on Sunday afternoon. Sophomore James Jeremio and freshman Alex Sweeten also netted goals for the Bills, and St. Louis is now 2-0 in A-10 conference play.
SLU's women's volleyball team has really been something to watch this year. With such a tough early season schedule, it was hard to get a good gauge on the team that lost their national ranking just a few weeks into the year. But now that conference play has begun, the experience from those nationally ranked opponents is starting to pay off, and the Billikens have really hit their stride. Last weekend, with a pair of wins over George Washington and Charlotte, the Lady Bills picked up their 5th straight shutout and their 8th straight victory in conference play. The ladies are in first place in the Atlantic 10, and next week take on that dreaded Ohio road trip. It's Xavier on Friday and Dayton on Saturday.
Off campus, it was a difficult weekend for sports fans in the Show Me State. The St. Louis Cardinals suffered a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers are the first team to advance in the MLB playoffs and will soon be joined by either the Phillies or the Rockies in the National League Championship Series. In the football world, Missouri couldn't hold on to a 12-0 lead against rival Nebraska, and the Cornhuskers scored 27 unanswered points to beat Mizzou 27-12. And Sunday, Brett Favre and his Minnesota Vikings came to town and handed the Rams their 5th straight loss of the season. 38-10 was the final score, and St. Louis is now 0-5 on the year. We'll be back with final look at weather next, so stay with us.
Chief Meteorologist David Keller is back for one final look at weather. David?
Yeah, we're looking at more chilly temperatures for the rest of the week and several good chances for rain, especially Wednesday into Thursday. So it just looks like more wet, fall-like weather for this week.
Okay, thank you, David. We thank you for joining us. Follow us online at SLU-TV, SLU.edu, and on Twitter. This is SLU News 22. Good night.